Okay, yay, we're on here. All right, so what we're doing today is we're going to go through the goals for the summer, which is super exciting. And then after that, what I'll share with you is how we're breaking down the goals into different action steps and the strategies in order to achieve those objectives and achieve those goals. And then at the end, you can pick which strategies you want to start with. Well, within the task list that needs to be done by next week. You'll pick which ones you want to do, and then from there we can continue the project, and then we'll meet weekly basis in order to review all the tasks that have been done and also put everything else into motion. Cool. Before we begin, is there anything you want to share about any questions that you want to get answered as well on this meeting?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, cool. So let me just get into here. So also going to share and recap with you what our mission and vision is. Okay, let's go here. All right, so loading. So White Age, we're as a company, we're doing like now that the world is starting to open again, what we're doing is we're gonna do a Europe tour this summer. So I've just booked in Prague, Berlin, Turkey is pending. Um, we have Poland, three cities in Poland, and then Italy is pending and Paris. And these are all the countries that we're going to be touring in. So part of that tour is for business development. And then the other objective of the tour is to, through business development, create clients from corporates as well as community members to join a program that's going to launch in the end of July. And so this tour, the purpose of it is to create awareness, education, and also create more just more community members for our online community. So for Y Age, we are a personal and professional success coaching company and transformational coaching company that takes care of people's transformations on a holistic level. So they join programs that engage them once a week or more, and that helps them with their future and their success, whatever it is that they're dealing with. So we call these people, this group of people, liberated leaders, leaders who want to be liberated from their comfortable way of thinking or their current state of thinking to maximize their potential so that they can grow in their businesses as well as in their personal lives. So the mission for liberated leaders is to foster and empower a global close-knit community of liberated leaders so that express their full creative power. So all their problem solving, their innovation, and all of their abilities to break through in a short amount of time. So we're going to share with you now the approach. For the summer, we have a small team to do both business development as well as product development. So the business development portion is what we'll start with, and that's the outreach. In business development, we have two parts of business development. One part is outreaching and creating these events in all these European countries. And then the second portion is the online outreach, because half of our clients also come from online sources, and that includes social media and all of the different media, internet events on Eventbrite. We've got email list, we've got current community, and also communities on LinkedIn and website. So we have multiple sources of outreach from the digital perspective, and then we also have the physical. So we're going to focus on the physical one first because that's very time sensitive, because I'm going to be in Prague on May 4th, which means that we need to finalize a lot of the plans as soon as possible. So for the mission for the end of July, we're looking at enrolling about 20 new leaders into our programs, which means that we need to talk to almost 5 or 6 times the amount of people to have around 20 to 30 liberated leaders into our program. So the strategy for this is to hold events in each of the countries and cities that I'll be in, as well as an online strategy. So split the strategies into two different portions. So in the European events, we're looking at running events, a 2-hour event at either a co-working space, a corporate like meet and greet, lunch meeting, or a corporate event workshop. So this is sort of the introduction to that. And then on the online portion, we're looking at personal outreaches, speaking to people on LinkedIn to find individual clients that could potentially we could invite to those workshops so that they can meet us in person as well. So, and also, of course, we can also speak to them individually to set up individual appointments with us. So this is a rough outline of what we're going to be doing. So our mission is for this summer is to get 20 to 30 liberated leaders in by July 14th. And the way that we're doing it is through events, online and offline, and then outreaches. And here are the different individual strategies and tasks that feed into these two strategies. Okay, so any questions before we move on? And then I'm going to move on to the different tasks that level up into those pieces.
No, I think it's all clear.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to make it like as clear as possible. So I was like, I'm going to put it into like just simple slides, just actionable items. All right, so how are we going to make this happen, right? So we're going to do this where I've listed out all the tasks that are necessary to get done by next week. Because we only have 2 weeks left, we have the week of the 12th to the 17th. Let me see here. The calendar, right? So we have the 11th to the 17th, which is April week, third week of April. And then we have fourth week of April, and then we're already in May. And then after that, we are already in Prague. So we only really have 2 weeks to accomplish and to finalize all these event dates and event places. And which means that we need to be able to get this done as like the initial work done in the next 2 weeks as soon as possible. And the process of getting this done, what the outcome is, it's a finalized event. So we set a date, set a time, and set a location to finalize the event. We have the topic of the event, and so we can start inviting people because we still need like a week or two to invite a lot of people to it. So the easiest way to do this is to find a location that already has a community. That way we don't have to be responsible for inviting that many people because they already have an existing community and that they're going to invite their people. So in order to achieve this, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different venues, right? So we've done this model in many different countries before, so we know it works. We did it in Cape Town, Spain, different places. So basically what we want to do is we want to reach out to, this is a market research portion where we list out 5 to 10 venues. So co-working spaces usually have already a very vibrant community. Corporate companies, they usually take a little longer to respond. So we would list out 10 high quality, strong community spaces. This can include corporate companies, venues, co-working spaces, yoga studios, community spaces in Prague, right? So Prague is one of the first locations, and then Berlin. So Berlin, I'll be there in the second week of May, and then Prague, I'll be there in the first week of May, and then Warsaw will be there in the first week of last and first week of June. First, second, and third week of first and second week of June. I'll write the dates down. So, but basically what we want to do is the first step, which is by next Tuesday, 12th of April, we want to have list of 10 high quality, strong community spaces for Prague and Berlin. And then the second priority is Warsaw. So that's the first set of work. So once we have all of those lists out, and you've vetted the spaces and you think, you know what, this is a community space that has potential clients and that we can really add value to, then we're going to be sending out outreach emails to them by the 13th of April, which is next Wednesday. And that, and in order for us to do that as a team, it would be setting up a Google account with that's related to the team. And then we're going to draft out the proposal as well as the outreach email, the first email that includes a couple of items. So this draft template email will be used to send out to each of those 30 locations to see who responds first and continue the conversation with them. And so this will include our objective, our intention of collaborating on an event with them, the kind of value that we can add to them and their community, and the top 3 benefits of what that looks like, as well as our past events, the testimonials and content of past events, what topic we proposed for them, what dates were in the country, so that when we would be able to collaborate and host or co-host the event, and then what are the next steps with them. So that's all going to be in the initial first 2 emails that we send them. So this email is going to be drafted by you or one of the members here. And the second draft, so the first draft will come out on the 11th, and then the second draft, and then I'll give you feedback, and you'll have the second draft by 12th, and then we'll send the actual invite to them on the 13th. And then you want to be able to keep track of them on an Excel spreadsheet or some form of keeping track. So you're keeping track of those 30 people and where they are. Some people will say no straight away, then you'll have to find a replacement. And then some people will not respond, then you'll follow up every day until they respond to see if they're interested or not. And that would be the business development portion and the cycle for that. And then once they agree or they say this is interesting, then they hop on a call with me. You'll schedule them into a call in my calendar, and then we'll iron out the details of what's possible, the topics, dates, and the number of people that we're looking for. So that's the first portion of the outreach. And then the second portion of the outreach is directly reaching out to LinkedIn, to leaders and HR directors of companies in those 3 cities, or more cities when we add more cities along. And that would be the same process of listing 10 leaders in HR for each of those places, and then LinkedIn messaging them and asking them if this, with the same thing, objective, examples, benefits, and asking them if this is something that they're interested in. So pitching to them the workshops and the availability or the interest, gauging the interest, and then our availability to host those workshops. So by next week, end of next week, we want to be able to have already sent out the first email out, and then hopefully already start hearing back from people, yes or no, or they need more information, and start scheduling information calls with me. So by then what we're going to do is we're going to meet end of next week to see where all the progress is, so we can take it to the next step, in which we will start marketing collaterals and either confirming things or following up. And then hopefully we can finalize all the locations and dates and spaces by the end of the following week, while we prepare the collateral and the assets in the next 2 weeks, concurrently. So that sounds a little bit confused. If that sounds a little bit confusing, don't worry. I'll lead you through it in the same way by listing out each of those items. Any questions so far?
No, it all makes sense. It's a perfect presentation.
Yeah. Okay, great. So my question for you now is which portion, since you're here, which portion would you like to take on? I think the listing thing would
I can
be,
just start the
start with the first.
because I saw the
Oh,
stuff due the 12th. I guess that maybe. Do you think it would be important that we do Prague and Berlin first? Do
yeah.
you think we should all be doing it at the same time, or should I definitely start with Prague?
I think Prague and Berlin do
Okay, yeah, I
together.
guess, starting
Yeah,
with
because if we miss the boat for Prague, because it's so
Sorry,
soon,
my
then at least we can get stuff in for Berlin. And then because Warsaw is in June, we have a little bit more time for that.
yeah, perfect. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is not like great, so sometimes like cuts out a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. So I'll put your name next to that. And then for the first series of listing of 10 items, and then I'll check back in. So you can just take that portion, and then I'll have the other team members work on the LinkedIn portion.
Okay, perfect. Should I make an
Yeah.
Excel or will? Okay,
Yeah. So Excel, yes, let's make an Excel to then organize all of that information. And
yeah.
I'll also
Would you like
send
it on a
you the
Google spread?
slides. Hmm?
Would you like it on a Google spreadsheet just so I could like share it with people? I don't know how
Yeah.
Excel works these days, but like
Yeah. No,
my
no, no. I don't, I never use
experience
Excel
is
anymore. I only use Google Spreadsheet these days. Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Okay, so basically what I'll do is I'll put your name next to the items that in that category. And so you're responsible for that segment of basically listing out the market research portion all the way through to following up with them to create the events. And then what I'll do with the other team members is I'll allocate them. There's another slide of to-dos, but that's more on the LinkedIn side.
Mhm.
So so I think we'll allocate it this way.
Okay,
Cool.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Sounds
Very
great.
simple and straight.